Hi, welcome to Beetopia. I'm Sarah Red-Laird, the director of Kids and Bees. In Beetopia, you get to learn all about different species of bees, their habitat, and challenges that they face. So bee habitat is very similar to people habitat. They need three things: food, water, and shelter. Their food, of course, is nectar and pollen that they get from flowers. Water is water that they find to drink, but shelter is a lot different than people houses. So bees live in three different ways together. One is cavities, two is tunnels, and three is the ground. The vast majority of our native bees actually live in the ground, and there's different ways that they live in the ground together. So there's solitary bees that just live in individual nests down inside the ground that are very far away from each other. There's aggregations of ground nesting bees, which means many bees nesting right next to each other, but with their own individual nests. And then there's also communal ways that bees nest in the ground, which is like an upside down apartment building. There's one entrance for many, many bees that will live underneath the ground and live in different cells, little tubes in the dirt that have been dug out, but they each have their own nest even though they share an entrance up at the top surface. Tunnel nesting bees are some of my favorites. Well, I think all bees are my favorites, but our tunnel nesting bees are bees like our mason bee, and they live in tunnels, like branches that have been hollowed out. Raspberry canes, blackberry canes oftentimes have a very pithy stem. It's a soft stem in the middle, even though the outside is hard and water and weatherproof, and they can dig out that spongy pith and move inside there for their nests. Also holes in trees that maybe birds have burrowed. Carpenter bees burrow their own holes. And then I've even seen leafcutter bees, which are a tunnel nesting bee, nest in little tiny tunnels and piles of stone. You may get the opportunity to build your own stone walls and make habitat for bees in Beetopia as well. And then there's, of course, our cavity nesting bees, and those are our most well-known bees. So honeybees and bumblebees are cavity nesting bees. Honeybees' natural habitat is usually inside a tree, like an oak tree or an old birch tree, some sort of tree that has a large cavity space inside of it that the honeybees can move into that's already there. Bumblebees also like to move into large cavities that have already been built. One of their favorite places to live is old abandoned mouse nests that bumblebees will move into. And sometimes these nests aren't abandoned yet, and a queen bumblebee will come in and threaten a mama mouse with her stinger and kick her out of her own home and then move her family in there. So those are the three ways that our bees nest: cavities, tunnels, and in the ground.